What's up, everyone? It's Ray Luzier from the band Korn, and you're in good company.
Good company!
Hey guys, my name's Scott Bowling, and you're watching Good Company. Today we're with the man, Mr. Ray Luzier.
What's up?
Korn.
How you doing, man?
Dude, thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
You're one of my all-time favorite drummers.
Oh, stop.
How's that make you feel?
Best drummer in this room. I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Dude, when I was preparing for this interview, I didn't realize how much you've done. I've tried to gather it all, and I don't know, I'm still missing stuff, but
yeah,
you've done it all.
There's probably some records that should be missed. No. Yeah.
Big catalog, man. And so your first album, Korn's new album, The Nothing. Great album, just came out, a few weeks ago. Dude, I love this album.
Thank you, man.
It's great.
Super proud of it. We're definitely on a new, I'd say, level all the way around as a band. You know, there's no substance abuse. There's no drama. It's all about music and family now. You know, and I think obviously everyone knows what Jonathan went through with his, losing his wife last year, and it was a big deal. And the emotion that he poured out on this record was just super heavy, super intense, and
yeah. With something like Jonathan going into something so dark, I mean, you just kind of leave him alone. He kind of goes and does his own thing and write lyrics, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably not seeing him every day.
No, this record what's special about it is all five of us were getting together. You know, it's like me, Monkey, and Head getting together and writing some riffs, come back to it, and we did do that on this record. But we really all five collectively got together in Nashville, in Los Angeles. We have a studio in Bakersfield, and it was just really cool because bouncing ideas off of each other. You know, like somebody say, "Hey, how about this?" And then we didn't rush this record. You know, we kind of took our time. We got away from the music for a couple of weeks. We came back to it and readdressed things, you know, and said, this is not as strong as we thought it was. Because you get really jazzed. You start writing stuff. You're like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And you listen to a couple of weeks like, it's not that happening. But and then bringing producer Nick Raskulinecz back into the fold. That was important. He did Serenity of Suffering.
Oh,
our last
okay.
record.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nick's he's a passionate guy, man. He's like, you know, he's rocking out with a broomstick in front of me when I'm doing drum tracks for the record. You know, he's like rocking out. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, I'm just feeling it. Because that's the way he is. You know, he's such a passionate dude. So I think everything just went like this on this record for some reason. Not that it didn't on the others, but there was something really special about this one.
Yeah, I love it too. And I'm big into podcasts, and I want to say you guys have a podcast now, right, with this album?
Yes, we're starting this whole thing. Details are coming soon on it. We released the first trailer, kind of teaser for it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of details coming.
I love that because Korn always seems like on the cusp of like podcasts are huge. You guys are doing podcasts. I remember when Korn TV, you know, you weren't in the band with that, but
No, but I was a fan at that time.
It was just brand new, you know, it's interesting.
They've done a lot of amazing things and broke a lot of records. I mean, they were the first band to get retired from TRL, you know.
Yes.
MTV's TRL. I mean, who can say that? You know, they literally, because that's fan-based, right? So the fans have to vote, and they actually
Dominated.
They dominated, kept number
All
one.
boy bands, they were, you know.
Everything. Yeah, and they actually had to retire them. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
amazing.
First ones that would go down Sunset Boulevard on a flatbed playing, and they just did some really cool stuff. You know.
So when you got your first album,
Whoa!
Medicine Wheel.
Yikers! You're going way back, dude.
When you were in Medicine Wheel, you're like, one day I'm going to be the drummer of Korn. One day.
Not at that time. I did not know I would be sitting here, but that's crazy. So Medicine Wheel, Mark Ferrari's a good buddy of mine. Was in an 80s band called Keel. The Right to Rock. Ron Keel, do you remember that?
I know Ron Keel, because Eddie Trunk talks about it.
Rock.
Yeah.
Just 80s, big hair, all that stuff. He had this like kind of skunk streak in his hair. He had like blonde hair with this black streak. Anyway, I did a lot of sessions in Los Angeles for a while. I was playing on people's records. I was doing movie soundtracks. Anything to make a living playing drums. You know, I was teaching drum lessons.
How old are you this time?
Right here?
Yeah.
Man, that's got to be 24.
You've been playing drums forever.
20. Yeah. Been playing drums a long time.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Dude, I'm talking about this. Like, was this the first time you recorded in a studio?
No, that's not my first recording. My first record ever was a band called 9.0. And I was signed to this label called Shrapnel Records.
Okay.
And a lot of guitar heroes came from there. Paul Gilbert, who's from Pittsburgh as well, like myself. Tony McAlpine, Michael Lee Firkins, Darren Householder, all these like you know, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Wow.
All these, they all came from the Shrapnel label. So that was my first band I ever played played on called 9.0.
Have you always been just amazing at drums? How old were you
No,
when you
I'm
started?
still waiting to get there.
Yeah.
Tell me when I'm amazing. About 10 more
You
years,
are
I'll be
amazing.
getting up. Thank you. I don't really. I look at myself as still having a long way to go. You know,
Wow.
like I've accomplished a lot, but I still feel like I have so much to learn and so much just music to embrace. You know what I mean? There's so much out there, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't really. That's what's great about what I do. You never really reach that plateau of like, oh, I'm good here. I'm just going to stick at this level.
No, that's what keeps you going. 'Cause
Yeah,
you want to be better and
I
strive.
just did a drum festival last week in Manchester, England, and wow, I felt like, and I closed the whole thing, and I
okay.
didn't want to close the thing, dude. I felt like, I mean, there's insane smoking drummers like Chris
Yeah.
Coleman from Beck, and you know
really?
Matt Garska from Animals as leaders, and Benny Grabe and Marco Minimum, and I mean the list went on, and I'm just like, what am I doing here? Like I just wow, you know.
Were your family, like, growing up, were your family real supportive? They buy you a drum set when you're little?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we grew up on this giant 118-acre farm in the middle of nowhere outside of Pittsburgh, and you could set your drums up in the yard. No one could hear you.
Oh, that's cool.
Our nearest neighbor was a mile away. I mean, it was, that was that kind of.
What a trip, though. They're like, if you want to play those drums, take them outside.
Yeah,
You
well,
can't do that here.
Yeah, exactly. They were real respectful. They my room was above their room, which was insane because I sucked for a very, very long
You didn't
time.
hear weird noises? You know?
No, but I played. They heard bad drumming for
Oh, yeah.
a long time. But I had a curfew. I cut off at 10 o'clock or whatever. And no one in my family played music, which was weird. You know, you'd think that I would come from massive,
Yeah, that's
musical
interesting,
family.
yeah.
They just played it all the time. It was Chuck Beatles, Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
What did I just say?
Chuck, Beatles?
Did I mess up the first one? Chuck Berry. What did I
Chuck
say?
Berry. You said Chuck Beatles.
Chuck Beatles. That guy Chuck Beatles is great.
Yeah.
You gotta go buy all his records. Chuck Berry, Elvis, the Beatles. My brain got ahead of me.
Yeah.
I got ADD, ACDC. I got all that.
I just agreed. I was like, yeah, Chuck Beatles.
You went with it.
Yeah, I did.
You totally went with it. Yeah. Anyway, they always played music. It was always on the radio. They were playing records, Zeppelin, you name it. And then as I got older, my sister would, she's buying Ozzy and Sabbath and Ted Nugent and Motley Crue and Skinner and plethora of stuff.
You said your sister is doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And she's 5 years older than me, so I'd go steal all her records.
My brother's 5 years older than me, so
There you
that's
go,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. 5 years, bro.
Yeah, 5 years, bro. Chuck Beatles, man.
Chuck Beatles, man. You don't want to. People Google them right now. Whoa.
So, yeah, I guess this
Look
came
at that.
next. I don't know.
Look at that acorn head I got going on there. That's that's some blonde,
That's good, man.
hideous sun demons.
Is that all natural, too? The blonde?
This, I'm really proud of this record. That's J-Lo. He's the original J-Lo.
Cool.
Not
That's
that's
the original
the famous
J-Lo.
singer that's out there. No.
She stole his name.
James Lomenzo. He's an amazing bass player. He plays for John Fogerty now. He played in Black Label Society, Megadeth, Great Great White Lion Snake. What is the name? Not White Snake, Great White.
Great White.
No,
Yeah. Great White.
Wasn't Great White.
Okay.
Lion.
Great. Yeah. We're gonna have to Google
God,
that.
no, what's his band? Sorry, J-Lo. He hates me now. White Lion.
White Line.
There's too many of those. He was in a band called White Line. Wait, I never had a chance to love. Yeah,
I like that.
So I got him the gig with the David Lee Roth band.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
he was almost retired from playing bass, and I'm like, dude, you're way too good to retire. There's no way you're gonna. Dave needs a bass player, and he wants someone with experience. He doesn't want a new guy. He wants someone who can sing.
Wow,
And,
that's cool.
Yeah, so I got him the gig with David Lee Roth. And then Toshi Hiketa, one of my awesome, he's my Japanese brother. He lives in Osaka, Japan. He married a friend of mine that went to the same music school that I did. So he ended up being my next door neighbor. And he would sit out on his balcony with an acoustic guitar and a cigarette and playing this amazing stuff. I'm like, dude, who are you? He's playing jazz. He's playing Latin. He's like, whatever. So this was the David Lee Roth band for a while.
Oh,
We had another guy, Brian Young, who played with us after. But we would always write stuff at sound checks, and we accumulated all these riffs. Boom, made this record. I recorded this whole thing. Studio buffs out there will laugh at me, but there's a machine called the Roland VS 2480 machine. I did everything on that, on this, and I recorded it, mixed it.
Is that your first time doing something like
Yeah,
that?
a full record. So if you get this and it sounds a little tinny, but I'm proud of it. It's a good record. It's all
Oh, that's
instrumental.
cool. Do you ever go back and listen to this?
I did not long ago because a fan brought it up to a meet and greet for me to sign, and my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, because this only pressed, I think, 2,000 copies.
Oh, okay.
So it's amazing if you have this record. Yeah.
I got the vinyl right here.
There you go, dude. 50 cents on eBay, I'll sign it.
Was this
Whoa,
the first David Lee?
speaking of zippity bop.
Is it?
Betty Page, that's the DLR band with John Five, who was John Lowry
Love
on this
John
record.
Five, yeah.
Amazing guitar player.
Absolutely.
Terry Kilgore played some guitar on here. Also, Mike Hartman, who unfortunately passed away from cystic fibrosis, also played on here. He passed away at a young age. He's the one that turned me on and the reason I got the David Lee Roth gig in the first place.
Wow.
I used to do a ton of sessions, a ton of people's records. And this kid used to come in. I used to teach part-time at PIT, Musicians Institute in Hollywood. And I have this thing called open counseling where all the kids would come in and, I can't play this. I can't figure out this Dream Theater song. So you just do whatever. You try to help them out. And this kid kept coming in and I go, aren't you a guitar player? He's like, yeah, but I'm intrigued by your class. I'm like, cool, man. Just sit over there and shut up, And he, little by little, he's like, I want you to play on my solo record, And I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, Greg Bissonet's playing on. I'm like, he's one of my favorite drummers ever. And we're doing it at Steve Vai's house. I'm like, sure we are, kid. He's name dropping all these people. Next thing you know, I'm at Steve Vai's house recording with him. Long story short, he started writing with David Lee Roth. Dave heard the songs that I played on and said, let's recut them for vocals because they were instrumental songs. And that led to me getting the deal.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a movie about that. What's funny about like John Five is I interviewed Ricky Ratman and he said the same thing, like that John would come to his club, the Cat House, and be like, "What? This is a kid," and you referred to him as a kid. Everybody refers to him as a kid, but he's always in the right places at the right time.
Totally.
So
John's a great. I mean, we were like we fanboyed out. I mean, come on, it's David Lee freaking Roth.
Yeah.
Like he was. I had that poster hanging on my wall since I was 10 in Pittsburgh, the Oz Festival, doing that split.
Oh,
and
yeah,
now
it's
he's
so good.
me to you
It's on
away.
DVD
and
now,
I'm like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? He's like, so me and John were like, he's playing Unchained, and I'm like, we're playing Van Halen songs, and Dave's like, hey, stick to the new stuff. What are you guys doing? It was this whole, but we were such fans, But we totally. John's an amazing, incredible person, and
what a band! Like, I mean, having you guys together. And
Yeah.
were you and John playing together on this album?
No, John unfortunately never even played a live gig with us. Marilyn Manson saw him play with Rob Halford's 2 overseas and said, "You're coming with me," and that was it.
Right.
So, yeah, Diamond Dave. This is mostly covers on this record. We did this at Henson, the famous Jim Henson Studios, and that's me. The lipstick? No. I didn't make the cut on the girls. The Playboy Playmates were more prettier than me. So Dave's goes big on everything. One thing about the guy, he dumps a ton of money, whatever it is. I mean, if you ever, the diehard fans out there, if you ever see a thing called David Lee Roth's No Holds Barbecue, it's hysterical. It's just like, just had fun with his money. He'd hire playmates and little people and just, it was a complete chaos. It was like, my friends that smoke weed love it because
Anybody would love it. That's something you got to witness.
it's out there, but it's like, it was at his house. He spent like $1 million on it. It was just, it's insane. Like but check it out. He's like, put the band in the jacuzzi and get the Dom triplets in kitty cat outfits and just whatever he wanted to make happen, he made it happen. 52 people were building, cassette boom boxes outside, that the band, like when the cassette thing would open, the band was inside. It's just stuff you can't, you never would even think in a million
That's
years.
wild, man.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm proud of that record. It's there's Savoy Brown, Beatles songs.
I see this. If 6 was not Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix on there.
When you guys do songs like this, how's do you have to get permission from each? I mean, these are massive songs.
I know they're huge. I don't know, to be honest. I'm sure there's some kind of copyright thing, but I know when you record them and redo them yourself, you don't have to go through as much unless they start selling and getting,
Do you enjoy like learning other people's songs and playing to
That's
them?
how I did it. I mean, I played the covers my whole life. I just would put stacks of records on in Pittsburgh and played along with every record possible,
Yeah, and I love all these like drum clinics too, man. We haven't talked about that, but how'd you get involved with that? Was that something?
The clinics?
Yeah.
Drum clinics for sick drummers. Education runs big in my family. So my mom was a principal of 3 schools. My aunts, my uncles, everyone was into education. And my mom's like, I don't care if you go to Mars, you're going to college of some sort. Well, I didn't want to go to a quote college. I wanted to go to a 24-hour music school. So at the time, my guitar player in Pittsburgh found Musicians Institute and said, it's 24-hour, music. That's it. If you want to learn history, it's the history of drums. It's, you know what I mean? You only have to count to 4, but no. But it's like, it was a big deal to like go across 2,600 miles, move to LA, change, basically leave my family, I think back now, I'm like, Mom, what were you thinking? You dropped me off on Hollywood Boulevard. What were you, Oh, Raymond, you had a good head on your shoulders. But it's one of those things where I'm glad I went because I got my ass kicked hard.
Did you?
Because I didn't know anything. I barely could read a quarter note. I didn't know jazz, Latin, funk, reggae. I didn't know all this stuff. I just was a rock metalhead off the farm.
Okay, you just played by ear.
I played the Back in Black and Physical Graffiti and moving pictures. I didn't know all this stuff, but I thought I was all big stuff moving out there,
So you got pretty humbled moving out there.
Big time.
Did you have somebody like you kind of connected with that helped you?
Well, the class was insane. It was Ralph Humphrey from Frank Zappa.
Wow.
Joe Porcaro, Jeff Porcaro's dad from Toto.
Oh, that's cool.
Efren Toro, Casey Sherrill. I mean, the staff was just insane, So literally, like I said, I got my ass handed.
Yeah.
Hard,
That's amazing you didn't give up, though. Like, you kind of...
No. I mean, I called my mom crying a couple times. Oh, it sucks. No. But I knew that you're young and naive at that time. You don't really know. You just have big dreams. Like, I just wanted to make a living play. I didn't want to do the whole... Everyone dreams about being rock stars or being this or that. I just wanted longevity. I knew at a young age that I'd be doing this till the day I died. Whether I was in a super huge band, if I was hitting a bucket under Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah, and it's great you had supportive parents, along the way. That makes a huge difference,
They did, because they could have easily said, like, go get a real job or go, and they didn't. They had faith in me. They didn't know the first thing about the business, and neither did I, but you just learn as you go.
So the next thing I have here...
AOA.
Yes. I love this album. And why didn't this album take off? It did take off, but why didn't you guys keep going?
It's interesting because, for those that don't know, it's Robert and Dean DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots, Richard from Filter, Richard Patrick, and myself. So as I was getting out of the David Lee Roth band, I was looking for something original. I had too much music in me. I wrote music. I didn't want to I felt like I was in a David Lee Roth cover band with David Lee Roth. You know what I mean? Because we were playing Van Halen, and I had a blast, and I don't regret any of it. I learned a ton, got to travel the world, but I was looking for a band to call my own. And when I played the NAMM show 2005 with Billy Sheehan, Billy's a great friend of mine. I did his last 2 solo records, Holy Cow and Cosmic Troubadour.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and Billy and I and Toshi off the Hideous Sun Demons record played this trio thing. Robert DeLeo and Dean DeLeo were there with Steve Ferroni from the Average White Band.
Okay.
And they were playing a thing called Farm Fur. And then Billy Cobham was on the bill. So all these insane drummers, I'm like, God, they must hate us because we're just... Billy's...
Billy's amazing, dude.
Insane. So, but they were nudging each other at sound check, like, hey, who's this guy? Who's this drummer? And they go, hey, man, like, I go, dude, I'm the biggest STP freak. Thank you for all your music. And I was just like, hey, what are you doing right now? I go, well, I'm in the David Lee Roth band. I'm looking for another band. And they looked at each other like, we have this band with Richard from Filter. And I went, I'm a huge Filter fan.
Yeah.
Please let me audition. Please. They go, oh, you're going to audition, all right. And then I went down there, and they were looking at a couple other drummers, some great drummers, people I really look up to. I was really kind of scared because I didn't think I was going to get the gig. And we played probably side 1 and side 2 of Physical Graffiti.
Wow.
Because they're Zeppelin freaks. And we get done, I'm like, hey, we play the songs I learned, the demos, And then he said, where are you from again? I go, Pittsburgh. And I go, you got the gig. So it was weird. Like, I think I played 1 or 2 AOA songs. And then, but...
But they're putting you through the ringer, man. They're giving you the... Yeah,
totally. But they're sweet. Some of the sweetest people on the planet.
Are they?
Some of the best musicians I've ever worked with,
Yeah. Dude, I love the songs, and Goodbye, that drum thing you do, man, it's just sick. I love it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was weird because it ended up on the radio. There's actually a drum solo.
Did
vamp.
you think it would be? I mean, you
No,
think they would edit because
no.
of the length. Yeah.
And a weird story about that is, or a funny story, Bob Ezrin,
Yeah, Bob Ezrin.
Pink
yeah.
Floyd, The Wall.
He did Deftones. Yeah, not many people know that.
He did. Yeah, I mean, he's been around forever. I mean, did he do Deftones?
He did. What was it? Saturday Night
You
Wrist.
just threw me off.
Yeah.
That
But they didn't get along though. I mean, I don't know, man. This could be all rumored or something.
But
he did do
you're making
Saturday
me
Night
think
Wrist
now.
though.
But Bob's one of those guys. He's legendary, of course. I mean, come on, Kiss Destroyer is one of the reasons I picked up a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that Peter Criss. I wanted to be Peter Criss, and it's like having Bob in the room was just intimidating as it was. I'm just looking at him
I
going,
bet.
man, he's just a person, Ray, just like you. But he's the one that went. Him and Robert were sitting in the studio, and they went, just go for a vamp at the end. Just go nuts at the very end. I'm like, okay. And I got headphones on and try to map something out. I'm like, maybe I'll do something. Played it through once, and then I looked in the studio, and they were all standing there like this, like field goal. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm getting there. I got some ideas.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that's it. You're keeping that. And I'm like,
One take.
yeah. And I'm like, no. So I did it. I go, please let me do it again. I did it probably 15 more times. And they're like this. I'm like, that's way better than the first. Nope. There's a fire and energy on that first take. That's the one you hear on the record.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's kind of.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
One take. That's awesome.
Oh, trust me, I'm not one take Jake by any means. Sometimes I'm 28 Jake.
How come you guys didn't do another record, man? What was the?
At that time, I knew Scott Weiland. Eventually, he was in Velvet Revolver. It was kind of the super group time.
Yeah.
All these bands had. I knew Scott was going to eventually get back in. The tour, we were kind of the guinea pigs on this record label called The Firm, The Firm Records. And I'm not saying they mismanaged us or anything, but I don't know if there was enough done. You know what I mean, for the magnitude of the band. I think because I really believed it. That was my baby. And then the Firm managed Korn and a bunch of others, and they also managed Army of Anyone. So I was calling my manager, going, "This isn't looking good. The tour's kind of slowing down. What's going on?" He's like, "I don't know, man." And I could feel it, the demise of it, and it was bumming me out because we had a lot of material. We were starting for AOA too.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what am I going to do, man? I need a gig. He's like, I go, what's up with Korn, man? They got Terry Bozzio playing on the record. They got Brooks Wackerman.
That's right.
They
That's
got
right after Headlock, yeah.
Joey from Slipknot filling in. All this stuff. I'm like, well, they're looking for a steady drummer. And at this time, I had like longer blonde hair, and and he goes, you should go play with them and see what happens. I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, no, you should. They really dig that Army of Anyone record, and like, okay. And so that's what I did. I went up and then auditioned at Joey's last gig in Seattle because he was going back to Slipknot at the time.
Yeah.
And I set up this little 5-piece rickety drum kit in this empty arena in Seattle.
So I thought didn't you try out on camera? Because was that on camera?
There was cameras, but I didn't know there was cameras.
Okay, yeah, because they documented that. I've seen it.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah,
if you type
Philly's. I remember. Yeah, everybody was just like, "Wow."
Yeah, but I learned. They told me to learn 6 songs, and my experience through LA and trying to get gigs. And I always encourage up and comers, learn more than you have to. If they tell you 5 songs, do your homework, research the band, go back and dig deep in the catalog.
Jason Newsted says that. He said when he tried from Totality, he's like he looked at the tour and figured out all the songs they're playing on tour.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's wise. So I learned about 33, 35 tunes, and I was already a fan, so I knew a bunch of Korn stuff. But I was a huge Terry Bozzio fan, and he played on Untitled most of it, and I was like, I learned every song. I was like, can we please do Everbee? And they're like, let's just stick to the hits.
Oh,
and I was fighting to do Everbee, so we finally did it, and they were just like, all right, man, welcome to Korn.
That was crazy seeing Terry Bozzio, and they were documenting him for that album. He had like a wall, man. Well, insane, dude.
I called a manager one day, and he's like, yeah, Korn's got this drummer. He's like 87 drums down there. I'm like, no, he doesn't. Who's the drummer? He's like, Bozo. I'm like, Terry, are you what? No, there's no way. But he was, Jonathan's like one of his favorite drummers ever. So I'm like, I was blown away.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. So, okay, you tried out for Korn, but you did this thing with Doug Pinnick from King's X.
Man, I haven't seen that in a long time. Hence my expression. Wow. Doug's my boy, man. Love Doug.
So you did a little solo project with you.
Okay,
right?
here's a story about Doug. I said, I was such a huge King's X fan that I would fly to other cities to see Kings. I would my buddy would call me up and go, because I lived in LA at the time. He's like, dude, they're in Vegas. I'm on my way to pick you up. Click. Wow. There was no question of, do you want to go? We're going.
Wow, yeah.
King's X, it was like going to church, like going to every. Why, in our opinions, they should have been bigger than the Beatles. Like, I love heavy riffs and I love beautiful harmonies over top. There's something about the power of that. Anyway, San Francisco, whatever. Doug kept seeing me at these gigs. He's like, man, you're always here. I'm like, yeah, anywhere on the West Coast, man, I'm there. And I go, dude, before I die, I want to play tambourine. Just let me play tambourine on one of your songs. He's like,
Tambourine.
yeah, because I just wanted to be a part of something he did.
Yeah.
So when that album came up, he goes, hey, man. I'm like,
You got
are you
that
serious?
tambourine?
Yeah. It's triangle. And then we played 2 songs. One of them made the record, and
That's so
that
cool.
started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And as you know, I don't know, some people know, I started a band called KXM
Yes.
with
Yeah.
Doug and George Lynch, the legendary guitar player.
Love George Lynch.
Yeah,
Man. That's
from
cool.
Dokken and Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
I keep calling his band Lunch Mom. He gets really mad at me. Sorry, George. Lynch Mob. Amazing, insane guitar player. I had a birthday party in LA for my son that turned 1. We're all in my studio. They're all messing with my guitars, and Doug looked around, and George goes, this would make a great lineup. I'm like, yeah, that'll ever happen, because we're so busy. And we're on our 3rd record now. We just released a record called Circle of Dolls.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, man. And I was telling you earlier, like 3-piece sounds so full. Like,
Thanks.
And I love 3-piece, like the Police, one of my favorite bands too. And just something about it. It's cool. I like it.
What's interesting about KXM is there's no riffs written. There's no pre-production. We just go in the studio with headphones on and say, what do you got? What do you got? And by the end of the day, I'm tracking drums for the record permanently. The next day, we go on to a new song. So it takes 10 days out of my life each record. That's it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Of course, they overdub guitars and vocals, but yeah.
Okay, so your first album of Korn would be, is it the Korn III, right?
Yes, that's the first full-length, top-to-bottom record that I did.
You're with Ross.
Ross Robinson, yeah.
Talk about that experience.
Ross is a slave driver, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to. He's another passionate guy. Every producer does their thing. They have their thing that they. What was rough about this record for me, my only first recording I did was "Kidnapped to Sandy Claus," which was on the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack.
Oh, that's
Danny Elfman song. We recreated it into it. Check it out, everybody. I'm really proud of it because we took a total classical composition and made it this heavy song. So this was like my first time where I'm still the new guy, years later, in all my bands I've ever played, and I'm still, that new dude.
Always the new guy.
Everyone knows that Ross made the first Korn record in Life is Peachy.
Yeah, so I love Korn III. It's such a cool idea.
He has a huge history with the band, and so of course I got rode the hardest, because hadn't rejoined yet. So it was just Monkey, Fieldy, John, and I in this super small little room in our studio in Hollywood, and it was crazy. John would leave there with tears in his eyes. It was a rough record to make. I'm proud of it, and I listen back, and the whole method of no click tracks, everything's so fixed and polished these days.
Yeah.
And a lot of the soul is getting sucked out of music these days, but that's this industry standard, it seems, and it doesn't have to be that way. So there's mistakes on that record, full blown, and Ross loves that. He loves if you if you don't quite hit a snare right, or if you miss a crash, he loves that imperfection. So, but I was dry heaving when I would leave the studio, wow, that's going to stay on the record forever.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm really weird about CDs and records and recordings, because when we're all dead and gone, they outlive us all. They're gonna live on. Somebody, 200 years from now is gonna pick up Korn III and go, wow, that drummer used a click track because he's all over the place now.
Where'd you guys record that at? Because it was Indigo Ranch, or that?
No, that was theirs.
Gone now.
That's gone. That was their original place.
Yeah.
We had a studio on Hollywood Boulevard for a while that doesn't exist anymore. The new studio's in Bakersfield, California, where John lives. Or he lives up there. So that studio is not there anymore. And it was a beautiful studio. But unfortunately, it's apartment buildings right now.
I love that they made a DVD out of this.
Yeah.
And it's total 90s.
Yeah.
It looks like it came out in the 90s, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, there's all these
cool.
effects and stuff.
Is that Fieldy's daughter?
No. That
Who
is
is that?
her name. What's her name? she just Facebooked me not too long ago. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know you. She goes, oh, you know me. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. She goes, and she sent me that
Korn
picture.
III.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, you know. Anyway, she's a sweetheart. Her and her mom are great people. And
No, I was thinking that was Philly song. That's fun.
no, that's
So-
me in the car though. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's
Scary dude.
and you guys went a total different direction for this one, man.
Yeah, full blown.
Were you all on board for this? For making such a crazy
John
transition?
came up. Sonny Skrillex, he was hanging with him, and he wrote the song "Get Up," and he played it for us at a sound check, and he pumped it through the PA, and all our jaws hit the ground. We were just like,
Yeah.
"What is this?" I'm like, "Is this your solo project?"
That's what
he goes.
yeah.
"I want it to be Korn." I'm like, What about me? Because I heard these programmed drums. I'm like, what am I gonna do? He's like, we're gonna sample the drums live, and he was so passionate about it. It threw me off at first, I'll be honest, but then I embraced it because I really liked the songs. I really liked where it was so left field, and you know, but with that, a lot of the diehards were like, what are you doing to us, kind of thing, you know. But that's what I love about John is he's not afraid, and Monkey and Head and Philly, they're not afraid to take chances on things.
You got to, man. You got to evolve.
And you have to make yourself happy. A lot of bands, some of my favorite bands, every record sounds exactly, you know exactly what you're going to get every single time. And that's great.
Some works for some.
It works
for AC/DC, right?
AC/DC, Motorhead, Maiden. There's a lot of bands that just have that formula. Why would they break that? This kind of made everyone just go, what the heck, you know?
That'd be funny when John, you're like, what am I going to do? And Jonathan goes, I'm gonna get you a tambourine, man.
Yeah, it was interesting at first, but then the live shows were just so powerful and triggering these drums, so they sounded like these ginormous.
Wow.
We actually shipped in 9 or 10 extra subs every show.
Really?
So like, if you were in that first 20 rows, you were moving off the floor whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah. When you're playing these songs live, you have programmed or something?
There's computers running behind me, so it triggers all the drums as I go. So the verse
cool.
snares might be different, and the chorus kicks in, it gets bigger, so they're all running on that.
Oh, that's cool, man. Okay, this is the first sound with Head.
Yes.
Amazing record, man.
Thanks.
I keep saying DVD. I'm so nerdy about like when you guys document stuff, and you guys document with Head returning with him on stage with holding that guitar over his head.
Yeah, it was big.
Carolina Rebellion.
Yeah, it was a big moment.
What was it like playing? You know, seeing all the Korn guys.
That was. I don't think it hit people right away because they were just no one expected it. You know? He was playing a side stage with a band called Red, and we went over to the side stage on a golf cart to watch him because I never met the guy. I wanted to meet him. I met his daughter before I met him, which was really weird. She came to a show in Arizona.
Janae,
and man, he got up on that stage and he ripped that stage apart. Just his presence. He got up, and he was just this beast. And I was just like, what the heck? This guy. And in my head, secretly, I was like, this guy's got to be back in Korn. He's just too ginormous of personality, musician, everything. Gets off stage, and we kind of bail. You know, I met him. Philly was there. And we're talking to him. And then that's the first day that him and James have spoken a while. And time went by, and James called him one day and said, hey, if you ever want to get together and write a song or whatever, he's like, yeah, when the time is right, we'll do it. And that's so more time went by. I don't know.
The seed was planted.
The seed was planted, yeah. Kind of put it out there. And then when the time was right, he called and we started writing stuff, and instant chemistry with those guys, you know. It's like,
that's awesome.
And he's, as you know, he's
goofball.
He's a goofball. He's a ham.
You say that in the film. That's really cool.
Yeah, but he's a beautiful human being. It's like,
amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the record too. It's just
thanks.
The songs are so good. Pray for me. I love all these songs. Love and Meth, just great song.
Me and John keep trying to. There's a couple. Paranoid and Aroused. What's the other one? We actually worked a couple of these up at sound checks. When they're Victimized, we tried to do before. But yeah, I'm a fan of Don Gilmore produced this, and it was a totally different. He did the first couple of Linkin Parks.
That's cool, man. Have you guys ever thought about working with like Rick Rubin?
Yeah.
Because he's huge.
He's a different. I mean, producers are kind of strange in a way because you need that outside ear and outside vice to like. Because you get attached to these things, they become your babies. You start writing all these songs, and then this guy goes, that sounds too much like this, or that. How dare you? That's our, you get kind of proud about the tunes. And Rick from Ross Robinson to Don Gilmore to Bob Ezrin to Nick Raskulinecz, they're such different people. So, and a lot of times you don't know if it's going to make or break the record. You just have faith and confidence in these people, So Rick is such a strong personality. I'd love to get in a studio with him.
Man.
I've never done it,
Yeah, he's got like a documentary series now on Showtime. It's really good. I can't remember the name of it.
I didn't see it.
But yeah, it's called something. I can't remember the name.
Serenity
All
of Suffering.
Yes. Yeah. What's up with this record, man? It's good. I love Rotting in Vain, man. Such a powerful song.
Thanks. Yeah. Did you see Tommy Flanagan in the video? Yeah, you gotta check out the video.
Yes, I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah. This is the first one with Nick Raskulinecz. It's Josh Wilbur mixed that, and in my opinion, it's one of the best mixed records. It's just ginormous sounding. The low end is so big.
Oh yeah.
Jonathan sounds amazing. The guitars are in your face. You can hear Fieldy's pop that he had back, back in the day. There's all this blend in there that, to me, it's one of the best mixed records, I think.
Man.
This and The Nothing, my two favorites. Some great songs on there. Playing these songs live were just amazing. Like playing the song Insane,
Great
opening
song.
up with that, it just sets the whole mood for the night.
All right, and then you got your boy Jonathan Davis.
I love this record.
Yeah.
Such a great record. Black Labyrinth. So
did he ask you? He's like coming off tour. He's like, I'm gonna do this solo thing. Do you want to?
he asked me the first tour I did with him, which was in '08 when we started in January. We just got done doing 36 countries in 4.5 months.
Jeez.
Not states, countries. I'm talking Dubai, South Africa, Australia, Japan, Russia, all of Europe, all of Canada. It was an insane, crazy tour. When we get off, he's like, "Hey, Ray, yeah, you got to come play on these songs that I'm doing." I'm like, "Of course, man." He goes, "But I want to do something different. I want to do taiko drums and get really experimental and try some different." I'm like, "I'm all about that, man. Anything not to just go boom chuck,
Yeah.
So we did a lot of these tracks though back then in '08, pushing '09, and they kind of sat there. And through the years, he'd play these things. I'm like, "What song is that?" He's like, "That's you, dumbass." I'm like, "What? Like, why isn't this out?" He's like, I don't know. I got to get a deal happening. Anyway, long story short, Velvet Hammer, our new management, heard it, got us a deal on Sumerian Records, and recorded some of them. Some of them were the original recordings, and then had it mixed and mastered, and really happy with that.
Did you like going on tour with this? You guys did a small
Loved
little
it.
run, right? Smaller shows.
Smaller clubs and House of Blues type places. I love the intimate, settings like that. It's just awesome.
That's awesome, man. So you guys just did a tour with Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thanks.
I love Alice in Chains. Did you guys connect with them? I mean, did you know them back in previous?
I never met them before. I met Sean Kinney a couple times at certain situations. I actually jammed with Mike Starr before he passed.
That's cool.
At a club in L.A., a really small place called the Cat Club. Amazing people, they have such great songs. I mean, we were fans of them from way back.
Yeah, me too.
And sometimes when management presents you with certain packages or certain bands, you never know. You're kind of, some are obvious, like we've been out with Rob Zombie, Disturbed, Manson, whoever, like it kind of works. But when they mention Alice in Chains, I'm thinking, this is really great. Are our fans their fans and vice versa? It was one of my favorite tours I've ever done.
Yeah, that's cool.
They had so many great songs. There wasn't one night that I didn't go out and at least watch 3 or 5 songs, because it got me pumped. They sing like freaking birds. William and Jerry together are just unbelievable. Jerry would come over to my dressing room I go, "Hey man, why didn't you do Fly off the new record?" And he's like, he starts singing it like 3 feet in front of them, because I'm still a fan, It's like, you kidding me? You're playing it. So they're awesome people.
It's awesome, man. Dude, I appreciate you being on the show, man. This means a lot to me,
Thanks
brother.
for having me, man. Dug up some cobwebs too. I'm like, whoa.
You gotta give me your best Dave voice right now.
What are you talking about, Dave voice? There's no such thing, pal. I always tell people having Dave Lee Roth as your singer and having him as your roommate on the bus is 2 different things. Completely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does he enjoy you imitating him, or is that
I don't know. Maybe cut that part out. No, I don't know. He's a great dude.
Yeah, man. Dude, well, I appreciate you being here, man. This means the world to me, taking the time.
Hey, man.
You've done
Thanks,
such a solid job, man. And you have so much done. It's amazing.
I appreciate
Huge
it.
catalog.
I got ways to go.
Yeah.
I feel like it anyway.
I appreciate it,
you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.